A man broke in during our sleepover expecting an empty house, not two teen girls ready to do whatever it took to survive. Nancy and I were alone at my house doing each other's nails while my mom worked the night shift. She was showing me some tutorial on her phone when she suddenly froze and whispered, "Did you hear that?" I told her she was being paranoid, but then I heard it too. Footsteps downstairs, slow and heavy, and then the sound of our back door clicking shut. Someone was already inside. I grabbed my phone to call Mr. Nicholson next door because he always told my mom he'd look out for us. But before I could even unlock the screen, the footsteps were already climbing the stairs two at a time. Nancy pulled me into my closet and eased the door shut until just a sliver of light came through. I started to whisper something, and she pressed her hand over my mouth. Through the crack, I watched a shadow pass my doorway and stop right outside my mom's bedroom. Something metal scraped against the door frame. I heard drawers start crashing open and slamming shut. A man's voice kept muttering, "Where is it? She's gotta have it in here somewhere." Nancy was trying to type 911, but her hands were shaking too violently. I heard the man punch a hole straight through drywall and scream, "The safe! Where's the damn safe?" My blood turned to ice because nobody knew about that safe except me and my mom. He knew us. He had been watching us. Then Nancy's phone slipped out of her trembling fingers and cracked against the closet floor like a gunshot. The muttering and crashing stopped. Everything went dead silent for 3 horrible seconds. Then the footsteps pounded straight toward my room. Nancy looked at me with tears streaming down her face and mouthed, "I'm so sorry." I grabbed the bottle of nail polish remover and twisted off a cap with shaking hands. She reached up and wrapped her fingers around my softball bat leaning in the corner. The beam of a flashlight swept under the closet door and held there. A hand curled around the edge and ripped the door open so hard it almost came off the hinges. "Girls, hey, it's okay." The flashlight blinded us completely. "I saw someone suspicious outside and came to check on you." The voice was warm and familiar, but every single nerve in my body was screaming that something was horribly wrong. Nancy sobbed, "Oh, thank God," and stepped toward him, but he grabbed her throat and shoved her back against the closet wall. She clawed at his hand and choked out, "Please stop." He squeezed harder. "Tell me where the safe is or I'll snap your neck." Her eyes were bulging and her face was turning purple, and I knew he wasn't bluffing. I threw the nail polish remover directly into his eyes and he let go of her throat. He staggered backwards, screaming and clawing at his own face. Nancy dropped to her knees, gasping and coughing, and I thought she might pass out, but she grabbed the bat off the floor and swung it into his kneecap with a crack that echoed through the whole room. He collapsed and started crawling toward us, still screaming, "I'll kill you both. I'll gut you like pigs." He was reaching for Nancy's ankle, so I stomped on his wrist, and I felt bones crunch under my foot. Nancy got back up and hit him across the back with the bat, then again across the shoulders, and on the third swing she brought it down on his skull. There was a wet crack that I will hear in my nightmares for the rest of my life. He stopped moving. Nancy stood over him with the bat raised for another swing, and I grabbed her arm. "Stop, Nancy. He's done." She looked down at him, and the bat slipped out of her shaking hands. I reached over and hit the light switch because I needed to see his face. When the light flickered on, I felt my whole world tilt sideways. It was Mr. Nicholson, our neighbor who brought us cookies at Christmas, the man who helped my mom carry groceries in every single week. Nancy called 911, and once the police were on the way, she grabbed my hand so tight I thought my bones would snap. We stood there shaking over his body until the sirens finally came. One officer stopped dead in my doorway when he saw who was lying on my bedroom floor. He turned to his partner and said, "I tried to flag this guy 2 years ago. Told them something wasn't right, but they called me paranoid because everyone on this street loved him." He looked at the two of us trembling and holding hands over a dead body. "You girls did good."